welcome to the African Market Network. While most headlines are chasing slowdowns in the world's largest economies, one country in East Africa is running an engine most investors haven't priced in yet. Ethiopia's own government is targeting 9% growth this year. Outside forecasters, the IMF, the World Bank, put it lower, in the 7 to 8% range. Either number would put it near the top of the growth table, anywhere on Earth. Now picture the scale underneath that number. Almost 139 million people. Median age, 20. Nearly 60% of the country is under 25. This is what it looks like when a country that size suddenly unlocks doors that had been locked for half a century. For over 50 years, Ethiopia kept its banks and its telecom sector entirely state-run, closed to outside capital by law. That changed in December 2024 when Parliament passed Proclamation 1360, the first law in half a century letting foreign banks into the country. A single foreign investor can now take up to 40% of an Ethiopian bank. Total foreign ownership can reach 49%. Think of it like opening new lanes on a highway that was down to one. More banks, more capital routes means money and digital payments start moving faster through the whole economy. Telecom went first, and it's already proof of concept. A Safaricom-led group with Vodafone, Vodacom, and the International Finance Corporation involved paid $850 million for Ethiopia's first private phone license, plus $150 million for a mobile money license, and launched service in October 2022. Under 3 years later, it had crossed 10 million active customers on a stated path to 70 million by 2030. None of this happened in isolation. In July 2024, the central bank floated the birr, Ethiopia's currency, ending those same 50 years of currency controls. It devalued sharply overnight. In exchange, over $10 billion in international support. The float is what made the banking law's foreign investment math work at all. A modern economy runs on electricity before it runs on anything else. Ethiopia inaugurated the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam in September 2025, Africa's largest hydropower project, 5,150 megawatts of capacity, expected to generate over $1 billion a year once fully monetized. And it isn't just for domestic use. In 2025 alone, Ethiopia earned $61 million exporting power to its neighbors, 80 megawatts to Djibouti, 200 to Kenya, 100 to Sudan, with Tanzania next in line. Ethiopia isn't just generating electricity for itself, it's positioning itself as East Africa's power supplier. That's the direct link back to the industrial parks and the banking story. Reliable low-cost power is what lets a Hawassa textile plant or a new foreign-backed factory actually run at scale instead of on diesel generators and hope. Ethiopia's oldest export is world-renowned coffee. The plant is native here. But the story now is what's layered on top of it. Commercial horticulture, automated logistics, and textile-focused industrial parks like Hawassa, Africa's largest, which alone pulled in over 160 new investors and more than $750 million in fresh commitments this past fiscal year. None of it moves without a connector, and that connector is Ethiopian Airlines, the continent's largest carrier by fleet and reach, more than 150 aircraft, $9.1 billion in revenue this past fiscal year, up 20%, carrying 20.7 million passengers and nearly 900,000 metric tons of cargo. It's the trade artery that turns Ethiopian coffee, flowers, and factory output into goods on shelves in Europe, the Gulf, and Asia, within a day. None of this means the path is smooth, and it's worth saying plainly where the real friction is. The parallel foreign exchange market still trades at a 20 to 30% premium over the official rate, meaning converting profits back out at scale isn't fully reliable yet. Inflation, which had eased towards single digits, jumped back to over 13% by mid-2026 on a fuel cost shock. And in the Amhara region, security conditions have worsened through early 2026, not improved. But here's the context that matters. This is a country actively working through it with real institutional backing, not ignoring it. In July 2025, Ethiopia finalized an $8.4 billion debt restructuring with its official creditors. In June 2026, it struck a deal with its Eurobond holders too. New bonds, a lighter debt load, a clear repayment path through 2029. The IMF and the World Bank are both underwriting this transition with billions in support, precisely because they see the reform program as durable, not cosmetic. Step back, and the pattern is clear. Early-stage institutional capital, the IFC, restructured sovereign bondholders, the first foreign banks through that new law, is positioning now ahead of the crowd in a market of almost 140 million people, most of them young, most of them just getting connected to the formal economy for the first time. That's not a bet on a headline growth number. It's a bet on what happens over the next decade as the doors that just opened stay open. If frontier and emerging African markets are what you're here for, this is the channel for that. See you in the next one.